Hello there guys and welcome to another race here in Elite Racing League, the Endurance Division for round number 5. And after a terrible race that I had in Japan, we have a 2-week break. And I thought that it was gonna be a 1-week break as always, and the week passed after that race and I told Bernie, what's happening? There's no announcement, there's no assistance list, and he told me that it was gonna be on June 15th instead of June 8th. And at one point I thought they were moving to F124 after the Japanese Grand Prix, but fortunately he told me that we are gonna stay in F123, and I suppose that it's gonna be like that for the rest of the season. So let's look at the driver standings. The Rio GT is leading them with 80 points, and Lugardo is in second with 68 points. I am in a distant 6th position with 22 points and hope in this race I get up in the standings. The constructors, Aston Martin is leading the constructors with 96 points, and AlphaTauri is in second with 68 points. Lugardo being the only driver who scored points in AlphaTauri, but in this race he won't score points because I thought it of not attending this race. He won't do that thing anymore in AlphaTauri because he moved to Red Bull and his teammate will be me. So yeah, Lugardo and myself are now in Red Bull. I left Alpine because Bernie told me that he moved me to Red Bull, and with that we have the quest to get Red Bull out of the bottom of the standings and hope we can beat Alpine in a few races. Before we begin qualifying, Bernie told us that the qualifying will be a short quali instead of a full quali, Q1, Q2 and Q3, because we weren't gonna be lots of drivers, and at one point there was consideration of reducing the race distance to 28 laps instead of the original 56 laps, but we maintained with 56 laps, but the only change being the qualifying being shortened to a single session short quali. So we begin with this qualifying a little bit of a bumpy start because I invalidated the first lap, and that meant that I had to do that thing as a second out lap, and the lap that you are seeing is the lap after I did that second out lap. So yeah, I'm gonna have no fuel on the in lap. Fortunately the low fuel mode is on easy, and so I don't have much trouble with that. We exit the final corner, we exit it, and we open DRS and we set a lap time of 133.139, which puts us into provisional pole. Although yeah, I see that there is room for improvement, maybe 3 or 4 tenths more, but yeah, I'm a bit rusty in this circuit because I haven't been running since like 2 months, and all of the prime I have in the World Cup race of Canada versus Mexico is a little bit gone, but I recovered it a little bit. And here we are in the second flying lap. We drop down to P2, fastest sector 1, but I exit turn 11, but I try to exit as fast as possible, but unfortunately I run wide and I spun. I have rejoined a little bit cautiously, but it will have a possibility that I will get a lap time invalidation, but still I have gotten more cautiously, but still we are in second place. We're gonna be lining alongside Panther, but yeah, it could have been a great chance to get the pole position, but maybe I'll finish P2, so it'll be better for me to finish P2 since starting second than finishing P2 since starting on pole position. So Panther, gets pole, and he doesn't need to improve his lap time. Maybe he has invalidated it, and he crosses the finish line to set a lap time that wasn't better than the one he did previously. And yeah, only 13 drivers participated in this qualifying. D4 qualified third, Eddie in fourth, Kludek in fifth, an Alpine of the SGC driver qualified sixth, Churrasco in seventh. It was a 7-8 for Ferrari. Nevado in ninth, who set it on mediums. Capo in 10th, who also set on mediums. Bernie qualified 11th, and Alfred Cast is the final driver who qualified with lap time of 1:35.9, who set it on mediums. And Jimmy will start in 30th after being disqualified from qualifying. And with that, let's head into the race. The strategy will be a medium hard, and we loaded the field with 106 kilograms. And with that, we are gonna start this Grand Prix round 5, and we are on our way for round number 5 in Elite Racing League Endurance. And Panther is a bit lagging, and he's gotten a better start than me, but I dive bombed down the inside, and he ghosted, and Panther will drop down to P3. Or maybe he will not, but we are wheel to wheel with Panther, and I got up into P2, well, back to P2 because Eddie is leading the race, so he got a better start than the two of us, and now he's leading the race, so it'll be now time to catch him and overtake him. But instead of doing that thing, on lap 2 into turn 1, I got overtaken by Panther down the inside, but still I did not make that much of a try to defend because, well, I'll need to wait until the next lap for the DRS to be activated. Oh, Panther is having some issues, but anyway, lap 3 will be the lap where DRS is gonna be enabled unless safety car gets triggered. But for now, looks like it won't be happening, that thing. And in that lap, I'll have an easy chance to overtake Panther and later on Eddie. But laps passed, and I was yet to overtake these two drivers. But Eddie has spun, well, kinda spun, exiting turn 11. But still, that made me go up into P2, and well, in reality, I'm leading the race with the penalties applied because Panther has a 3-second time penalty, and he is less than 3 seconds ahead of me, so that means that I am leading the race with the penalties applied. But still, I try to be less than a second behind him in order to maintain that position and not being overtaken by Eddie, who might get some mediums bit worn out by the spin, but maybe he'll catch back. Well, maybe not, because he's now more than a second behind me, but he's kinda in the range of the DRS zone, barely in it, and laps later, not anymore. And Panther is increasing the gap a little bit on lap 10, and that'll change because he's left the session. And now the AI is driving his car, so now that means that it'll be an easy overtake to him, and I'll be officially leading the race. And we did that thing into turn 13. Laps passed, and I was still leading the race, but as the laps came, I was wanting for the race to be over because it was just boring as hell. And on lap 17, it was my lap to go and pit for another set of mediums, and with that we won't be leading the race anymore until a few laps later when everyone does their strategies, and we'll be back leading the race soon. And on lap 23 I came back to the leading ways, And with that, we begin the long journey to win this race, because yeah, it will be 33 laps to go, and it'll be a pain for me. And on lap 24, Bernie retires from the race, and that deployed the first full course safety car of the race. And oh my goodness me, finally something interesting happening. And now we are 10 runners in this race, so that means that if anyone finishes that race, no matter in which position will they finish, they'll score points. And I stay out, and well, I stayed out because I was hoping for another safety car to be triggered around lap 30 something or lap 40 something, so we can box for hards or soft tires in case it gets triggered in lap 40 something. And on lap 26 the safety car ends, and with that we are gonna race once again, beginning lap 27, and fortunately for me, I am still leading the race heading into turn 1, no one has dive bombed me, so that's good for now. But I said for now because on lap 28, Panther is overtaking me down the inside into turn 12, we are wheel to wheel with him, and I decided to let him pass because he has the 3-second time penalty that I told you earlier. So for now we are still leading the race as long as he doesn't create a gap. 3+ seconds, and Jimmy now overtook me down the inside. Good thing is that he also has a 3-second time penalty, so for now we are still leading the race as long as they don't pull a 3+ second gap with me. But they won't do that thing because on lap 29, Nevado retires from the race and the safety car gets deployed, the full course safety car, and I am planning to stay out because I am hoping that the safety car, another one, gets triggered in the next 10 laps so I can box for hard tires, or if that triggers later on, we'll be boxing for soft tires. And with Nevado's retirement, we are now 9 runners. But getting back to the topic of boxing in the next few laps, I was actually gonna box on lap 29, but I saw that the two that were in front of me stay out. I decided to stay out as well. And with that, we are gonna exit the safety car period on used mediums. And that thing ends at the end of lap 31 to begin lap 32 to go racing once again. And unfortunately I was too far away from the top 2, so I could not catch them and maybe overtake them, or at least fight them. And now Kludak is having a chance to overtake me in the next few corners, but even though he overtakes me, I would still be leading the race because Kludak has the 3-second time penalty. I don't have a penalty, and Panther and Jimmy still have penalties, and Jimmy has now another 3-second time penalty. And so that means that as long as they aren't more than 3 seconds ahead of me, I'll be still leading the race. And 6 seconds with the case of Jimmy, that now is leading the race on track after overtaking Panther down the inside into turn 11. And my lead won't last long because on lap 33 I'm gonna be overtaken by Churrasco. I've already been overtaken by Kludak, but the difference is that Churrasco doesn't have a penalty, so now I lost the race lead, and now Andy overtook me on that same straight. And to make things worse, my teammate is behind me, which is Skywalker, and oh no, that is humiliating for me. Oh my goodness me, that is just terrible. I got overtaken by 3 drivers in just 2 corners without spinning nor running wide. Just pure lack of pace. Oh boy, that is just a terrible thing, and I think I regret staying out and not boxing for hard tires. I'm struggling a little bit with those mediums. I'm struggling, and Oh no, that Ferrari is gonna overtake me, and the others is now enabled. So, oh no, no, no! Oh my goodness me, that is. Oh wait, no, he is running wide. He ran wide, and now we got back to P7. But still, just a terrible thing. But things will get worse because on lap 34, well, on that same lap, few corners later, that same Ferrari overtook me easily. And so that means that I have no straight line speed compared to these drivers. Oh my goodness me, that is just so terrible. We are down to P8 on track. And although, yeah, later on I overtook Churrasco, I was struggling with these mediums. I don't know why. They are at 36% of tire wear, and still I was just struggling a lot. Maybe it'll be because of the tire wear, although yeah, it says that tire wear is at that percentage, but in Kota maybe it is just that ugly. And yeah, with that we're gonna box for hards, and we are on lap 40 out of 56, 16 laps to go, and there is a thing that are called wait a little bit more and box for soft tires, and that's the thing I didn't do. And I thought that going for softs was gonna be a good idea due to tire wear and 16 laps being too many laps for soft tires, but I then realized that I made a mistake, and I realized it on the next lap when Panther boxed for soft tires, and then I realized, oh damn, I messed it up. And yeah, we're down to last place without the penalties applied. With that, it'll be that I'll get up into P8, but that won't last long because Panther is on softs, and softs have way better grip than hards, and it'll make a massive gap between myself and Panther. And oh boy, that's just, oh no, I regret going for hard tires. I regret boxing for hard tires. Now I have my race messed it up by that thing. Now my race is ruined. But well, let's see how everyone does, and maybe I can make a little comeback, but I doubt it. But laps passed, and I was now having hope that I can make a comeback, because on lap 44 I overtake Churrasco down the inside, and we get up into P8, and also Panther isn't pulling an extremely big gap, and when I was in lap 41 he was 3 seconds ahead of me, and now he's just only 3.5 seconds ahead of me, just between 3 and 4 seconds. And also Jimmy boxed, but still, maybe boxing for hearts isn't a bad idea. So yeah, let's hope that I can get up more places. And on lap 51 I get up into 6th position, and that's a pretty good thing. And to make things even better, I get up into P5 because I overtook Skywalker, although yeah, it wasn't much of an overtake, but now we get up in P5 that converts into P3 with the penalties applied. So yeah, and these soft runners couldn't destroy me, and instead I am catching a little bit with them and maybe overtake them. So yeah, it was a little bit surprising for me that I was catching them with hards while they were on softs. But well, maybe it is because the softs gets ugly tire wear in Kota and lose lots of pace compared to the really new ones. And on the final lap of the race, I overtook the soft runners, and I realized that I will finish P2. Although yeah, unfortunately I won't win the race, although I wanted that thing, but it is just pretty far away from us. And while overtaking Capaldo. Yeah, he's a bit glitched, but overtaking him to ensure that we're gonna finish P2. That is it. The thing we must do is not spin or crash into a wall, and we're gonna drive carefully into the finish line. We don't care if we get overtaken by Jimmy nor Panther because they have penalties and I don't have penalties. And we head into the big straight. We see that we're gonna get overtaken by these two drivers probably, and we head into turn 12. Jimmy overtakes me down the inside and also Panther, and we made a brief 3 wide into turn 12. I backed off a little bit because yeah, I knew that I was gonna finish P2, although yeah, these two drivers are fighting to death thinking that Panther is gonna finish P2, but he has lots of penalties. Maybe he'll finish at the back of the field. And we head into the final corners. We head into the penultimate corner. Eddie wins the 5th round of Elite Racing League Endurance, but we, despite getting on track 4th, finishing that position, we're gonna be ascending up into P2 because I'm the only one who finished without penalties. So yeah, every single driver that finished this race except me finished with penalties. So yeah, that is how I can get pretty good results by only being clean with the track limits. Jimmy finishes 3rd, my teammate Skywalker finishes 4th, who started in P14 after not participating in qualifying and replacing Lugardo because he could not attend the race. I don't know why, but Skywalker replaced it, and for that race he was my teammate. Krulak finishes 5th. It is a 6 and 8 for Ferrari. Capo finishes 7th, and Panther finishes last. So yeah, that's why you shouldn't get lots of penalties, because even though you cross the line in a half position, you get demoted down lots of places because of your penalties. And with that, we move up to 5th position in the standings with 40 points. Jimmy has 60 points and moves up to 3rd position. The Rio GT and Lugardo maintains the 1st and 2nd place respectively despite not participating in this race. And remember when I said that hope it take us few races to overtake Alpine in the standings? Well, it only took us 1 race, which was this race, and we move up to 6th position in the standings. Alpine goes down to 8th, and Aston Martin still leads the constructors with 111 points, and AlphaTauri is in 2nd with 78 points. Ferrari is in 3rd with 62 points. Now McLaren is the constructors that is in rock bottom. And with that, hope you have enjoyed this video, and see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.